Tidal energy. Today I am talking about tidal energy, and this is one of the renewable sources of energy. And out of many renewable sources of energy, today's focus is on tidal energy. But before the tidal energy, we have to understand about the tide, and then only we'll be able to understand tidal energy. Tide is also of two types, high tide and low tide. Let's talk about tide. What is tide? Actually, the rise and fall of level of water in the sea and ocean due to the gravitational force of the moon is called tide. Look at this. In the sea and ocean, let's say this is the level of water in certain sea, and when high tide comes, then level of water rises to a maximum value, and this condition is called high tide. And again the level of water goes on decreasing and it reaches to minimum value. This condition of level of water is called low tide. This is low tide, and this is what? High tide. Now, exactly how can we say what is high tide? This is a condition in which level of water in the sea rises to maximum value. What is this condition? High tide. And this low tide, this is a condition in which the level of water falls down to minimum level in the sea and ocean. This way we can distinguish high tide and low tide. How it happens to, just now I told you that it is due to the gravitational force of the moon. Look at this. Let's say this is Earth, and here we have moon. All of we know that moon revolves around the earth this way, and while revolving around the earth, certain part of the earth faces the moon first. Look at this. This side is facing the moon, and the sea and ocean of this side, the water level rises towards the moon because of the moon's gravitational force. At the same time, the level of water rises in opposite side also. The sea and ocean of the opposite side, which is not facing the moon, which is in the opposite side, in this side also level of water rises, and this is the condition of high tide. But in the same time, this side, which is not turned towards the moon, but it is at the angle of 90 degree with the moon, this side and its back side, in these both the sides, the low tide comes, level of water goes down. This way at a time we'll have two high tides on the earth surface in different sea and ocean, and two low tides in different sea and ocean. This way high tide and low tide always occurs, and this is this rotation of the earth. Earth is rotating around its axis, and it takes about 24 hours, and within this 24 hours this part goes another side, and again another side, another side. This way after every 6 hours this high tide and low tide occurs. After every 6 hours, first high tide and then low tide and then high tide and low tide. This is common experience for the people who are living nearby the sea. In this way, the understanding of the high tide and low tide helps us to understand tidal energy. What is tidal energy now? The energy obtained by the rise and fall of water level in the sea during high tide and low tide is called tidal energy. This is our relative material of this syllabus. What? The energy obtained from the tide is tidal energy. Now, what is the importance of this energy? Now, this energy is used to run tidal power plant. I am talking about tidal power plant. Look at this. Let's say we have sea in one side. This is a dam, let's say, and in the middle side, somewhere in the middle side in the dam, we have a turbine. This is turbine, and it is designed nearby sea, and this side, let's say, we have sea. And when sea water rises, then what happens? This side we have reservoir. When seawater rises, then what happens? Seawater enters into this reservoir, and when it enters, then it rotates the turbine and enters into the reservoir. Rotating turbine runs generator. Generator generates electricity. This way electricity is generated. But during low tide, look at this again. I'm making another diagram in the same way, same process, but a little different. What is the difference? Here we have, let's say here we have this turbine. Turbine is at this place. Now, level of water is high in reservoir because it is filled by high tide. And when low tide comes in the sea, level of water goes down in the sea. And at this time, the same water which is filled in reservoir comes back to the sea. At this time also it rotates turbine, and rotating turbine runs generator, and generator produces electricity. This way tidal power plant occurs. You have to remember that power plant means what? The place where the electrical energy is generated, and this electrical energy is generated by using tidal energy. That's why this is called tidal power plant. Okay, this much for today.